Hi, I'm Mr. Bizey, and I'm a music teacher, middle school music teacher, and I'm here to talk about the guitar today. I've actually been teaching guitar for the last 5 years at my middle school, and I've come, it was something I'd never taught before, never played before, and I've come to really enjoy it. And so we're going to talk a little bit about playing the guitar today. This is lesson 1. We're going to go over a lot of basics here, okay? So start with parts of the guitar. These are important so that when somebody refers to these things that you understand it. First of all, we have tuning pegs. Most likely your guitar looks different from mine. Most likely your guitar has tuning pegs on this side and on this side, but it should still have 6 pegs. If you have 4, you may have a bass or a ukulele. You need to check that out. Guitar should have 6 strings. Now there are 2 types of basic guitars. There are steel string guitars and there are nylon string guitars. We'll get into the difference of those later. Right now, it's not all that important. You can use either one as you learn the guitar. So we have the head here, tuning pegs. Obviously, these are the strings. We have the neck. And on this piece on the front, we notice we have these little lines. Most likely, like 99% of you should have these little pieces sticking up along this. These are called frets, which makes this long piece here. It's called the fretboard. And if you look closely at your frets, you notice they get a little bit smaller as you get to each one as you go. That's a physics thing. It will get smaller and smaller as you get higher and higher on the string, basically. Don't worry about it too much. It's just good to notice that. So we have strings, fretboard, neck, main body, sound hole. Obviously, this is where the sound comes from. Now, if you happen to be using an electric guitar, you don't have a sound hole, right? Because your sound comes from an amp that's got a pickup in it. We're just talking basic acoustic stuff right now. So you may have this piece right here. This is called a pick guard. If you have a steel string guitar, you will have a pick guard. If you don't have a steel string guitar, you don't have a pick guard. And what this means for the future is if you want to use a pick, which as a teacher, most of my kids always want to use a pick. If you don't have a pick guard, you don't use a pick. It's that simple. Because if you don't have a pick guard, you go to use the pick, and it's going to scratch up your instrument. That's no good. It can really harm it and make it not work as well. You need this good solid pick guard on there. Now, that doesn't mean if you have a nylon string guitar, oh, let me go get a pick guard, put on it. You shouldn't be using a pick on nylon strings anyway. It could probably snap them on you. Guitar strings can be fragile anyway, and especially your E string, your high E string, and it'll snap as it is. So anyway, so we have pick guard body. We have a bridge right here, and your sound is made by wherever your finger is from here, from the distance from that to the bridge right here, or if you don't have your finger down, from the nut up here all the way to the bridge. These little guys, and my brain is completely not remembering what they're called, but they're little guys you put in to help hold the string for this kind of guitar. For nylon string guitars, you may actually have a hole that you push them through and kind of bring them around and tie them around. That's a little different there. And then we have, basically, you may or may not have something to put a guitar strap on. I do recommend a guitar strap, and if you didn't come with the pieces to put a guitar strap on that, you can go pick those up for pretty cheap and put those on your guitar yourself or with the help of somebody who knows what they're doing. I recommend a guitar strap because I find when I stand to play, it's a lot easier to play with a guitar strap. Because that way, that's holding up the instrument, not my hands. My hands are free to move around. So that's the basics here. The guitar has like these little divots here, this one. Now, I'll admit, I'm playing what they call right-hand guitar. As a music teacher, I don't understand why there's a right-hand guitar and a left-hand guitar. And the reason I don't understand this is there's not a right-hand violin, a left-hand violin. Being somebody who's played violin for over 30 years, when I picked up guitar and found out, I was like, what? That's silly. And why I say that's silly, it's not that left-handers are bad or anything. It's because your left hand does a ton of work anyway when you play right-hand guitar, and your right hand does plenty of work. It's more of an ambidextrous instrument. But if you are playing left-hand guitar, and sometimes there's reasons why you need to, it basically, your instrument would be flipped, so the neck would be over here and the body would be over here. But I am doing right-hand guitar, just so you know. So this little divot right here should rest about on your right thigh, and the neck should be slightly inclined up. To strum, I'm not using a pick right now. I'm going to use my hand. I put my hand kind of like this. You notice my thumb sticks out a little bit. So you can just see that. And to do that, I just strum my thumb across the strings. Why don't we try that? We're going to try 4 together just doing that. pretty simple, right? And that's the basics for playing guitar. This is how to hold the instrument, how to do it, the parts of the instrument, kind of getting you started. My next lesson will go over some basic chords that we can use to start with. I'm going to do some basic easy chords, and then I'm going to do some basic full chords. Now, if you have essential elements, this is kind of what I follow for my lessons. So if you have that book, it's going to follow a lot of the same things that you see in there. If you can follow and teach yourself well, that book is actually really good to follow along and teach yourself as you go. But again, this is I like to do this as a supplemental to what you're learning in class or with a teacher. Although for the guitar, a lot of this can be learned if you can do it by using that book and using what I'm going over, so you can see what the example of what I'm doing and using what the books tell you to do. So join me next time. We'll actually put some fingers down and play the guitar. Thank you for joining me today.